Welcome back to the Beaned Out podcast. My name is Kieran,
And I'm Josh.
and today we have with us our pastry chef from To You, Lisa. Yay, Lisa. Yeah, we wanted to introduce Lisa today, just because we've been working with her for a very long time, and we've been very fortunate to have you for over a year now. About a year now.
It's pretty much been a year.
Yeah, full year. Yeah. Sharing her like fantastic talents in the bakery side of things for Coma, and yeah, it's been such a pleasure. Nothing but high praises for everything that you've put out for both the pairings and for the walk-in sets that we've been doing. Do you want to tell us a little bit about like your process for both the pairings and the walk-in sets?
Yeah. So the process usually starts with the Coma team. They share with me what the coffees are going to be for a weekend service. And then from there, I look at just the page of like for each of the coffees and seeing what the producers describe as like the notes for it. So I take that into account. Also taking into account exactly where in the flow of the service it's at. So if it's like more towards like the front, then want something that would be more of like a palate cleanser, like true palate cleanser at the very end, because usually it's not really served. The food pairing is not really served with a coffee. That's when can go a little bit more all out, a little bit more bold in flavor. Yeah, so that's more with like the tastings. And then for like the sets, that is also looking at the flavor notes for that coffee, and then whether it's for the pour over set or for the Spro set. So the pour over set, something that's a little bit more light and delicate, whereas like the Spro one, that one I can go a little bit more like bold with flavor too. Sure. So that's more with flavor. But then I also take like, for me, what my identity is as like Vietnamese American growing up in California, my story, what I would want to eat. I think everything that I make, it's something that I would want to eat. I don't want to serve something where it's like I'm not really excited about. Right. So just like a mash of like all of that to produce what I make every weekend.
I think that really aligns to like what we do with Komakase too. Is like I think we've never served anything both on the mocktail side or on the like pour over side or any of the coffee menu side that like we don't think we would want to have ourselves or that we haven't had ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Lisa, maybe we could back up a little bit. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about yourself? You know, what kind of like, you've told us what inspires you in terms of some of the personality that you inject in like the baked goods. But yeah, maybe you could tell us a bit of like how you got here and, you know, what you've enjoyed so far.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, grew up Vietnamese American in Bay Area. So while I ate like a lot of like Vietnamese food and very much so Vietnamese food that's kind of like in a way frozen in time in the 80s for when there was a lot of Vietnamese folks who came over from Vietnam to here. So those types of foods, but also like at school, like eating like hot Cheetos or like fried chicken sandwiches and like all this other stuff. And then growing up to at least where I was at, it was like a lot of Vietnamese and also Hispanic folks. So inspiration from like that as well. So mishmash of like a lot of different things, a lot of different like flavors throughout my life. And then about 5 years ago, that's when I started working with Volcano Kimchi, specifically at the farmer's market. I was working at the farmer's market for about 3 years. So there I was able to connect with a lot of farmers and also a lot of other food makers. And that really has shaped how I view like produce and using what's seasonal and really the huge role that farmers have in the fruits and vegetables that they grow and all the flavor through their craft and technique there with how they grow fruits and vegetables, how that then impacts the final flavor of the product that they're selling at the market. So that really changed or had a major influence on like what I create. But then also working at Volcano Kimchi, being influenced by Aruna she's the owner of Volcano, and the Korean cuisine that I got to learn through her, and all the other folks throughout like, the Bay, US, even like folks in Korea that I was able to meet, that has definitely made a big influence on what I create too. So yeah, like that was kind of like how the flavors of like what I like the first like 30 years of my life, like how that has influenced for what I create now too. Even though a lot of it is, at least what I create now, it's definitely influenced by like that Vietnamese American identity that I have. And then I've always just been like baking kind of like on the side. I never went to pastry school. A lot of my education.
Never went to pastry school is
I went to
crazy,
pastry
guys.
school. You
That's
don't need to
insane.
go to pastry school. Is what other people have told me when I was going through like the what is it? Imposter syndrome kind of like phase. But yeah, never went to pastry school, but a lot of my education has been through cookbooks, Substack, YouTube, Instagram, talking to other folks as well. When I would, because I live really close to Volcano Kimchi, I'd like make a bunch of stuff and then I always bring it to the team, and then just through trial and error that way and getting feedback from them. That has definitely shaped, or that has been very crucial in my learning and my growth.
Or like invaluable in terms of like, I've been starting to interrupt you a little bit, but I think like with the way that I approach, like crafting the mocktails for the Komakase menu at the same time, it's very similar process where like I've had to like not only bounce it off of like my peers, but also like off of like people that we serve to regularly, right? So yeah, I think that like that process, both with the way that I've brought a lot of my own experiences into like what goes into the mocktail side of things, like it lines up very, very like one-to-one parallel with like what you're doing with the pastries. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
like it would have been great if I did go to pastry school and had that like formal education that way. And like some of my peers as well, like they go through pastry school, they work in bakeries and like all that stuff. But for me, that wasn't really an option that I could afford to do.
Both with like time and money.
Yeah. And like all different aspects and all different like resources. So it was a decision on my part not to go down that path. But I didn't want not going down that path to limit the amount of education that I would have. So
well, it sounds like you did like a ton of homework basically. It was just like, oh, I'm just doing it at home. I'm gonna do it like, like learn on my own. I
but
love
it's
that.
like when you have like that strong interest in something, then like that's
It's
all
like
you
very
consume.
passionate.
It's like all Netflix is like all those like cooking shows, YouTube, it's like all of that. Substack, all that I read, podcasts, listen to predominantly like food podcasts.
Any favorites like out of that you want to like pick out or like shout out that you come to mind?
So I think so for podcasts, Taste Podcasts is one that I listen to a lot. Because like they interview not just like cookbook authors, but like food writers, food critics, restaurant owners, and like all different types of folks within the whole food industry, CPG. So that has been really cool to listen to get those different perspectives. Cherry Bomb is another one that I listen to. So that one is predominantly focused on females within the food industry. So they touch upon a lot of different topics that I really identify with, and hearing a lot of stories from folks who have gone into the food industry through various different ways and are currently doing different things within the food industry, especially being a female too within this country. And let's see, what else? Feels if I watch just like a lot of like random YouTube videos. Like there's like Japanese bakery videos as well, where like they follow like they go in at like 3 a.m. and then they're just like filming the bakery team as they're like prepping for the day.
I used to
and all
watch
of that.
those for like coffee shops, like
Oh, really?
in Korea and Japan. Yeah, like people was like, oh, like come with me to my like
Yeah.
my day at work or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean that's fun.
Yeah, but it's cool to also see like what their technique is for decorating cakes and like all of this stuff as well, because at least the ones that I watch, like they really zoom in on like what they're doing.
Oh, nice.
So that has definitely served as a huge part of like my education
Right.
too, and seeing like what people behind the scenes, like back of house, like what they're doing, what their techniques are for like cakes or bread and all that stuff.
Interesting.
Nice. I know you've been kind of like working with us for a year. What are some of the things that you've enjoyed? Just kind of like working with us or just working as a baker, right? Like with Koma. And yeah, what are some of your favorite things that you've made so far as well?
Yeah. Because the first thing that I thought of was like, what I really appreciate about being on the Coma team is the trust that the two of you have in me, and what I create as well. Like pretty much like from the very start, the two of you were like, yeah, like pretty much like do whatever you want. You're like, just
I mean,
do
that's what
whatever
we
you
do,
want.
right?
Yeah,
To a degree.
yeah.
Right.
And
Well, to be fair, the sample box that you gave like knocked our socks off. So like
That's the sample box. Do you remember?
There was like a shoe you gave
the
us.
savory shoe.
That was
Oh, the mushroom one.
Dude, I was like, what the fuck? It's crazy.
That's right.
I was like, okay, like wait, because I was late the day you came to drop off the samples, so they just showed up, and I'm like, wait, are we serving these out here?
Yeah.
And you're like, you missed the baker. Like, what the hell, dog? And I'm like, you know what? I'm chronically late to things. It is an issue. Put it in, like put it public for the record, okay? Chronically late. But yeah, we like it showed up the shoe, and then I think it was like a
There was like a banana bread.
thing, and then there was a cookie. There was some kind of cookie, I think.
Oh, it was like the gochujang chocolate
Chocolate-
ganache sandwich cookie.
Yeah.
Say.
Literally,
Wanna
yeah.
say, yeah.
So yeah, and then like that was like, oh, like this is like Korean inspired, or like I was like trying to pin it down, but like I'm like this all tastes freaking great. So I was like, all right, yeah. I think that was the thing that like really just sold me, because like I think it's very well known fact that I don't like bread very much.
I didn't know that.
Okay, I'm not like a big bread person.
You were eating bread this morning.
Well, you gotta eat. You gotta need something, because like you're gonna do service, and then you're gonna eat empty stomach. So yeah, like we were in Copenhagen, and like he was like taking me all these bread places, and I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. I get why people like bread.
Yeah.
And like I did like everything that I had there. I love everything that you do, like pastry wise, and it all tastes great. But like if it wasn't put in front of me, I wouldn't go seek it out. You know what I mean? So I don't say like I hate bread. I just like don't seek it out.
Yeah.
But when it's there, it's really nice to have.
That's a TikTok clip. I hate bread.
I hate bread.
Yeah.
Let you do your thing.
Yeah. So that was like a huge thing.
Like, yeah.
For sure. That's a huge thing. And then the second thing is just like the team. Very fun. I think especially like the three of us, but then also recently Roby as well.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Yeah, it's just fun.
It's
Shout
just
out Roby.
fun. Yeah, shout out to Roby.
Yeah, and I'll give kind of like a little bit of context as to like how we started with some of the pairings and the seatings. Originally, we were only doing pairings, and for walk-ins, it was essentially people would come in and they would just get coffee. And then as we kind of went on, we decided, I think for like two reasons. One, we wanted to be able to pay Lisa more. And then two, we wanted to offer some of her work for some of the people that weren't able to book the seatings. And we added some more substantial pairings for walk-ins, right? Lisa, can you maybe walk us through like that process, how it was for you to scale from, some of the smaller bites into like some of the bigger bites? And yeah, like how has that process been for you?
For me, it's been exciting because with the smaller bites, just because of like how it's served and its purpose within the tastings, there are some limitations. There are like a lot of things that I can definitely do that's different from the sets, but there are some limitations there too. So with the sets, just because they're bigger, I feel as if like I can make those things where like you don't want like a little scone. You don't want like just like a corner of yeah. So creatively, yeah, creatively. With the sets, like there are just a lot of other things that I can do too. So having both, it like scratches like different like itches, like baking itches. Doing things like coffee cake, for example, where it's like a little bit bigger. Yeah. Or like bigger cream puffs where I can like add different types of like filling.
Dude, the egg yolk one last week was it was last week, right?
Yeah. There was no egg.
No, it was
when you slice it.
When you slice it,
It was a few weeks.
it was a pineapple. No, it was literally last week.
It was the pineapple cream puff.
Yeah.
Where it was like
it was a pineapple
diplomat cream and then like the
pineapple in the center. But if you
compote,
cut it in half,
it looks like
an egg, dude. That was like sorry. It was good.
Yeah. So things like that are fun where it's like with the tastings, like I can't really do that.
Yeah. Because it's like such a smaller scale. Yeah.
There are ways that I can like with those types of like components and flavors that I can still like offer it for the tastings. But it's just like a different format. Just because like when your canvas is bigger, there's more that you can do. When it's smaller, then it's not limiting, but it's just like different. Yeah.
I think that's like one of the most exciting parts about like both the seating pairings and the walk-ins. It's like people get to, we have friends that like come in just for, like they're not even here for us anymore. They're here for your pastries, which is like the whole thing, which is crazy to me. I mean, like it's amazing and I think it's very well deserved. But yeah, like a lot of the people who are doing the seatings, when we started offering your pastries as like an add-on at the end, plenty of people were like, oh yeah, like definitely give me that. I would love something a little bit more substantial. Yeah, and that was like what makes like, you know, this part also exciting still. Like I think people see the folks walking in and grabbing the pastry sets and then they're like, oh, do I get that too? And then like, well, you can just like at the end, right?
Yeah. It's nice too because when you're having like so much caffeine and just having like some bites of food, sometimes you want something a little bit more substantial.
Right.
Else you'll feel like cracked.
Yeah, no, literally. Yeah, right. So yeah, I think that was very like astute, like of all of us to like start like noticing what people like, where the demand started going right after like bringing the sets on. I think that was like very quick turnaround where we was like, oh, also people are asking about the sets. Should we like give them a discount for the sets if they do the seating, or should we just like sell them as is? Because also for context, we try and reserve the sets the pastries for the sets for walk-ins, just so that people that are trying to come in for walk-ins have an opportunity to have the sets. But we're also like definitely willing to give anybody that is doing the reservation-based tasting an add-on pastry, whether it be for the pour over set pastry or the espresso set pastry. And yeah, like those come at different price points, and they've all been very, very tasty. Yeah, very excited to have all of those options available. But yeah. Yeah, I think another thing that like Josh and I were thinking about in terms of like how we're scaling out into potentially getting a brick and mortar for us set up. Are there things that you're excited for, looking forward to having like a full kitchen, or like things that you haven't been able to do yet that croissant?
Croissant?
You want to do a croissant?
I think there's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many other folks in SF who do croissants. Like,
sure,
amazingly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'd rather go there.
Oh, sure, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's great. Sure.
Yeah.
I respect that.
I respect it too. I think that's also in line with what we said. Yeah. Like we don't want to do things that people like, you know, I don't feel like, not to say that we don't like competition. I think competition is healthy, but like we don't want to put out stuff where like you just go somewhere. Like we don't want to be the catch-all place, you know what I mean? Where like if you could just go there and like get a better experience. We don't want to like step on like try and catch up to that, right? But yeah, I definitely respect the like, you know, if there's a croissant place, they do croissants, like that's what you want to do. But for you, like what would you like to do or like experiment with, or are there things that you've been looking at to potentially do in the future that you're excited for or curious about?
Like there is like, do you remember the honeycomb cake that I made?
Yeah.
The Vietnamese honeycomb cake that I made?
Yeah.
I would love to be able to do more with that. Switching up like different flavors, having like my own, like a bigger kitchen to be able to produce that. That would be really nice to do. And like other things too that definitely taste better warm. Yeah, because especially with like with the tastings, right now everything is like prepped in advance. And it's for just because of the space that we have, it's definitely crafted to work with the current space that we have, and the resources that are available to us. But I think that once we have some, like we have our own space with a kitchen that's like right there, it's fully equipped, with everything that we need. I think that opens up the door for different textures, different flavors, different presentation styles too. For me, I think like that would be very exciting.
So Lisa, we know you've been juggling, you know, like this job, but also your corporate job. What has it been like juggling the two jobs? And yeah, how have you been able to like divide the time essentially?
Yeah, always working.
Okay.
That's just like 24, always working. But I think it's like, for me, it's just like, just make it work in a way. And I think that because for Koma, it's right now we're doing it like every other weekend. And because it's also on the weekend too, it allows me to like during the weekday just focus on my corporate job, and then weekends is dedicated to Koma. And then the weekend that is like in between two service weekends, that's when I'm either like catching a break, visiting family, um, or doing more R&D for the next week of service. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm always working.
I know you mentioned, you know, in between the seatings you're doing R&D. What's that R&D process like?
So looking at what we have on the menu for coffee wise for the next weekend.
And sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but just to give folks a little bit of background, each seating that we have, the menu changes for the walk-in sets, but also for all the pairings that we do for the tasting.
And for the coffees?
And yeah, for the walk-in sets.
No, I'm saying the coffees also changed.
Oh, yeah, of course. The coffees also change. So it's very extensive in terms of like R&D, I'm assuming. Yeah, maybe walk us through that process. What is it like, and how do you think about some of the things that you're developing?
Yeah. Well, a lot of the times I'm going off of core recipes that I have, and then from there making tweaks and adjustments, whether it be different flavors using different fruits. And that allows me to make changes a little bit more easily versus like going from like choux to suddenly like learning how to make, I don't know, milk bread or something like that. Yeah. Where it's just like a bunch of knowledge and like education that I have to do within those like 2 weeks. So that's not sustainable at all. So there are definitely a lot of like repeat recipes, but it's just like tweaks here and there that then make it go well with like that particular coffee that's being paired with. But a lot of the times it's like me based off of like what I'm excited about and what like piques my interests. Like maybe it's a particular fruit that I saw at the farmer's market that I'm like, heck yes, I want to feature this. Like I have to work with this. Yeah. Or I like during the summertime, I'm making a lot of jam just to take advantage of like those fruits and then using it for later seedings. So maybe like with a particular coffee, I'm like, oh, like I have a jam that would go well with it, or like a different like preserve that I currently have, and like that could go really well with that particular coffee. Yeah, and then just do like iterations of it until um, I'm satisfied with the final product before service.
Yeah. Sounds
Yeah.
What drives you to do this?
Oh, I mean, I think it's just fun. For me, it's just fun. Like, I feel as if like I have a very unique opportunity where just because of how it works here at Coma with like the coffee of how it changes every single, at least right now with the frequency that we're doing it, it's changing every single weekend of service. So that challenges me to like continue to educate myself and try different things and really exercise that like part of my creativity. So it's fun. The challenge is really fun. Um, and I think right now, since I feel as if like at the very beginning, I feel as if like I was still trying to figure out like what my voice is. Since before all this, like I never worked in a kitchen too. Like I would always like bake stuff and give to people. And like when I was working at Neighbor, I would always like bring things in, and that's how like Alex connected me with the two of you. And so I feel like with all of that, then I'm like, oh, now I can kind of like the challenge is like even more apparent, and I'm like constantly just like exercising it, like the creativity part. Um, it's not sustainable to be able to do, especially like opening up a shop like every single day or even like every single weekend. Like, it's not sustainable that way for me, but also with like the food that we have and like the ingredients that we have too. But because I know that right now we're in like kind of like a unique time where I want to take advantage of it to be able to like experiment a lot more. So that once the shop does open, then I can kind of like take what I've learned from all of my experimentation up until now, with now kind of like the voice and identity that I feel as if like I have and with what I create, to then come up with like a solid menu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think there's also going to, once we have a shop, I think there's also going to be value in having a team to bounce ideas off
sure.
of. Like
Yeah.
outside of us, you know, we're going to need other people to help us, right? And I think there's going to be a lot of value to hiring people that, you know, enjoy what they do and are passionate about what they do and are able to add value to what we create, essentially.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too. Cause like up until now, it's just been me and like my voice, but I feel as if like having a team and then including like other people's voices in there too. I think that will be, that'll add different aspects to what we will be creating. I think that will be a lot of fun too.
Thank you so much for like talking to us today about how you're doing with To You and also with Coma, and being like a rock for us, and being very reliable this whole time. Yeah, I think like knowing that the pastry side is like very well in very good hands and very well taken care of, I think eases our minds a lot.
Sure.
I don't know if we've ever told you this, but like for pastries before, we were like kind of bouncing between a lot of different pastry chefs just to see like what was out there and to understand like how like we work together as well. So it was very chaotic, and then I feel like once we started like working with you, it was very like straightforward, and like we just knew that like, you know, that would be taken care of, and like we wouldn't have to worry too much about any of the pairing stuff anymore. So yeah, it was very, very like it's very nice to like be able to work with you and like very inspiring as well to work with you. I think that's something that we've tried to inspire each other, and hopefully we're inspiring to you, but you definitely are inspiring to us as well. And it like kind of feeds the energy all around. And it makes things like so much more, again, like way fun to like just like find new ways to like pair new flavors and it help facilitate that experience for all the people that come in and visit us. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for being on the Beaned Out podcast. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one, I guess.